Consider the following question. Is it more useful to be able to utilize AI for solving any given problem as opposed to solving any given problem without the use of AI? I am sure that many, if not most of you, would choose the first option, but is that really the way to go in the modern age that we live in? Sure, AI is currently shaping the world we live in with each second that passes, and it is without doubt shaping the future. But does that really justify us handing our ability to think over to digital algorithms? Well, to answer that question, first we have to establish what AI is at its core. AI is a technology that enables computers and machines to simulate human learning, comprehension, problem solving, decision making, creativity, and all kinds of other autonomy. Now, to understand what the more well-known generative AI such as ChatGPT or Claude is, it is important to look at the technologies on which generative AI tools such as these are built. These would be machine learning and deep learning. So machine learning is a concept that developed in the 1940s, with the first signs of intelligence being displayed by machines occurring as early as the 1950s. Most notable of these machines are Arthur Samuel's checkers playing program and Frank Rosenblatt's perceptron that could both recognize patterns, learn from their mistakes, and adjust their internal resistors based on experience. The term machine learning was actually coined by Samuel in 1952, and in modern day, this concept involves creating models by training an algorithm to make predictions or decisions based on data. It encompasses a broad range of techniques that enable computers to learn from and make inferences based on data without being explicitly programmed for specific tasks. One of the most popular types of machine learning algorithms that you might have heard of before is called a neural network. Neural networks are modeled after the human brain structure and function, which consists of interconnected layers of nodes that work together to process and analyze complex data, and are thus well suited at identifying patterns and relationships with large sets of data. And then of course we have the simpler form of machine learning, which is called supervised learning, that involves the use of labeled datasets to train algorithms to classify data or predict outcomes accurately. Then we have deep learning. So deep learning is a subset of machine learning that uses multi-layered neural networks, called deep neural networks, that more closely simulate the complex decision-making power of the human brain. Now, what these multiple layers enable is unsupervised learning. They can automate the extraction of features from large, unlabeled and unstructured datasets and make their own predictions about what the data represents. Right, so with that being said, I would like to point out the following. For both machine learning and deep learning, there seems to be a lot of simulations and predictions being made based on human input as well as man-made datasets that the AI will access. So either AI is dependent on user input to accurately predict an answer that will satisfy their needs, or the AI is responsible for its own decision making, in which case us humans might not necessarily have to understand how it produced data or information, but rather how we can benefit from it. This once again poses the question of whether or not we should rely on AI to make our decisions. Another thing to take into consideration is the extent to which AI models want to agree with users and provide a yes answer. For example, in recent months, people have shared online what happens if you ask an AI model if it is better to walk or drive to a car wash, given that it is 50 meters away from your house. Although as humans know that it would be pointless to go to a car wash without a car, the AI models expressed how a 50-meter walk to a car wash would make much more sense than driving there. It even tells you that walking is better for your health, you would save gas, and it is better for the environment. Clearly unable to use logic to evaluate why you would need to drive there, since nobody goes to a car wash unless they want their car washed. Due to this agreeableness factor, it can be argued that solutions provided by AI are less hands-on, and it rather looks for a way to provide surface-level solutions to users, rather than challenging them to think further and deeper. This brings me to my next point of discussion, which is that although AI enables users to solve the problems they face, it leaves no room for coming up with new ones. We live in an era characterized by rapid change, vast amounts of information and complex challenges, and the importance of being able to practice critical thinking and come up with creative ideas has never been greater. As routine tasks are becoming more automated, it is critical thinking that will allow us to adapt to new challenges, identify opportunities, and find innovative solutions. So if it reaches the point where we are unable to think independently from AI, What will happen to us? And also, what if all of a sudden we lose access to AI? Does that mean we lose the ability to think and solve problems? Our entire thought process could be becoming symbiotic with a digital machine that has no guarantees about what it is going to become or where it is going. AI is also great at answering all of our questions, but it is not as effective in coming up with new ones. Since the current form of AI that we are exposed to comes down to a prediction model, it is simply spreading information that already exists, or it is coming up with information based on ideas that humans have already thought about. Now, it is astonishing to see these ideas come to life, often in the fraction of time it would without AI, but it shouldn't fulfill our desire to think up new ones. I mean, we have become so infatuated with AI and its capabilities that we no longer focus on doing anything else. Now, it might seem a bit exaggerated, but if you are someone who uses AI on a daily basis, try and go an entire week without any exposure to it. As a society, we are right at the tipping point of losing our independence from AI. That is what this video comes down to. Are you willing to let that happen? The initial question might seem a bit harsh, and of course we can't solve every problem without the use of AI, especially since it is a useful tool that we can benefit from. I mean, it is still important to recognize our capabilities, but where do we draw the line? Is it okay to use AI to solve our problems at the cost of losing the ability to solve our problems without the use of AI? Now that of course is something that only you can decide based off your needs and experiences, but my advice to you would be the following. We don't know what the psychological impact is of this thing that has become such a large part of our lives in such a short amount of time. AI is rapidly evolving. With each day that passes, it changes from one thing to something completely different. If you rely on AI to make decisions for you and you wake up one day and it's not there, you're going to be left in a very, very bad position. I mean, if you're still able to practice critical thinking, then I guess it's not that bad since you will find a way to navigate through life without AI that you have gotten used to. But if you've also handed that over to AI, then you've got a big problem. But now to cut a long story short, is it more useful to be able to utilize AI for solving any given problem as opposed to solving any given problem without the use of AI? My answer would be that solving problems without the use of AI would be the way to go every single time. Critical thinking is what makes us human, and we should hold onto that for as long as we possibly can. And with that, we reach the end of this video. So I hope you enjoyed, and let me know what you think about this in the comments. And just for a disclaimer, the intention of this video is not to educate you about the dangers of AI or whatever. It is simply me sharing the way I feel about a topic and inviting you to also think about things like this, about AI, about what is happening in the world, and just to, share a bit of information and entertain you. So I hope you enjoyed and have a good day, and I will see you in the next one. Okay, goodbye.